Hello, everyone. We are Travvy Explorers. Our project aims to supply users with relevant information for the most popular travel destinations around the world with safety in mind. Upon using our website, we hope users can gain knowledge of places in the world they may have not known existed. Finally, with COVID in mind, our website provides up-to-date statistics for each city to ensure the safety of our users and promote responsible travel during the pandemic.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan. I'm a senior computer science major, and I'm going to be graduating in a month and moving to New York. For this project, I was mainly in charge of some of the AWS stuff, getting the CI pipeline set up, and kind of just front-end design, user interface, user experience, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Erica. I'm a sophomore. For this project, I completed the about and search pages along with implementing the search utility with Algolia. I also set up some of the backend API routes to serve data for each model, and then also worked on the front end with Ryan.
I am Tristan. I'm a sophomore, and I work primarily on the backend portion of this project.
Hi, I'm Pooja. I am a junior and I was in charge of the attractions model. So everything from data scraping to refining the API for filtering and sorting, and a little bit of the front end work for that model was my responsibility.
Hi, I'm Jaden. I was responsible for the hotels model and instance pages, and I also helped implement filtering and sorting and worked on the Postman unit testing for our API.
Hey guys, it's Ryan to kick off the demo, and this is our website, Travvy Explorers. It's information for the travel savvy explorer. So if you're a travel savvy explorer, this is the website for you. I wanted to show you guys the about page.
So for our visualizations, we first have the visualizations using our own API. So our first one is just a bar graph showing the top 10 cities with the highest population. And we get this data by hitting our cities endpoint, sorting by population in descending order. Then we have a pie chart showing the breakdown of hotels in different price ranges. And as you can see, each range is $50. And then we have the number of attractions and hotels for each city in the United States. And the amount of data points that we have is not reflective of how many cities that we actually have in the database, because a lot of the points are actually overlapping. So on the x-axis, we have number of hotels, and on the y-axis, we have the number of attractions. Then for our provider visualizations, we have another bar graph showing the monthly charge rate for 5 different providers. That's from hitting the providers endpoint and getting 5 arbitrary providers. Then we have a pie chart showing the amount of facilities that each run on first fossil and carbon fuels in the green, and then low emission fuels in the blue. And then the last visualization that we have for our provider is basically a time series of the annual fuel consumption for the El Paso Electric Company energy facility. You can also use the search bar at the top right to put in a query parameter such as London. And so when you click the search button, we use this third-party library called Algolia, which really quickly searches through all of the attributes for all of our models and looks for that query parameter that you just give it. And so we have our cities, attractions, and hotels. And if you want to look at an instance of one of these items, for example, let's go here, it'll take you to the instance page.
So our city model page is a table that has all the cities. We have pagination on it, so we could go to the third page or the last page. If we wanted to search within the model, we could search for New York, and we'll get results for New York City, as well as all the cities in New York State. If we wanted to filter by a particular country, we could get the cities in the US, and we could filter by a region in the US as well. We could also
also filter by time zone, and our table will reflect those changes. If we wanted to sort by an attribute, we could sort by any of these attributes. Sorting by city, we'll get ascending values by default, and if we wanted to change that to descending values, we have that option as well. We could specify a range for the populations that we want to get. So if we wanted to get populations between 200,000 and 500,000, we could enter those values in the range, and we'll get those cities. Same thing with elevation. If we wanted something between 100 meters and 200 meters of elevation, we'll get those. Finally, we could specify a range for code cases. So we could put 0 to 5 billion COVID cases, and we'll see all the cities that lie between that range. For each instance, we have an image, a description, and all the attributes that it has. We also have links to attractions in Tokyo and hotels in Tokyo, for example. And finally, we have a map showing exactly where Tokyo is. Going back to the city model page, we could compare between instances. So if I wanted to compare New York, Tokyo, Toronto, and Melbourne, we could compare, and we'll get the side-by-side overview of the attributes and some rankings as well.
So on this page, you can immediately see that there's a 3x3 grid of attractions as well as pagination on the right-hand corner. We've made your search for the perfect attraction very easy with various sorts and filters that we've implemented. When we chose to implement these sorts and filters, we decided to do it on the back end. So for instance, you can sort by the name alphabetically, the city alphabetically, the distance from the city, as well as the attraction rating. You can also filter by different things such as category, city, rating, and venue type, which is indoor or outdoor. So let's say I want to see all the historic attractions. And let's say I'm going to Boston, so those are the attractions I want to see. These are also removable tags, so you can add more or not. A lot of these filters, you can also type what you want. Now let's move on to looking at these cards. So these cards have various information about the attraction, including how far it is from the city, what city it's located in, and if it's an indoor or outdoor venue. So let's click on this one. So immediately on the instance page, you can see that it includes a short description of what this attraction is, along with a picture, rating, address, and the number of hotels nearby. You can also click on the Wikipedia article if you're interested, or click on this link that we have to our city instance page, which in this case is Boston. You can also find nearby hotels, which is our third model, and in this case it recommends this hotel. We've also included a map that you can zoom in and out of to kind of figure out where exactly this location is at.
Hotel's model page. As you can see, the table displays information about each hotel, such as name, city, distance from the center of the city that the hotel is in, average price per night of a room at the hotel, average rating out of 5 stars, and then amenities that the hotel provides. And you can also have the option to search within hotels. So for instance, if I wanted to stay at a Holiday Inn, I could search for Holiday Inns, and then I would get all of the Holiday Inns in all of the cities within our database. Say I wanted, and then you also have the option to filter by certain values. So let's say I was taking a trip to Houston, click that, and then now I just get hotels for Houston. And then I can also filter by ratings if I wanted to stay at a 4-star hotel. And then you also have the option to filter by price range, distance from the center of the city, and then certain amenities that you might be interested in having. And then we can also sort by name, distance, price, and rating. name, and now we get all of our hotels in alphabetical order. And then if we click on a hotel, we can see more information about it. So you can see an image of the front of the hotel, and then you get to see the full list of amenities, phone number, and if there is an email listed, there would be an email here to contact the hotel. And then you can also see nearby attractions. And then if you hover over them, you can see more information about each attraction near the hotel. And then you can also learn more about Houston. So say we could click this, and this will take us to the instance page for the city of Houston. And then if we go back, we can look at attractions, and we say we wanted to view more information about this attraction. That link will take us to this instance page. A map which shows the exact location of the hotel within the city.
So a couple of things we thought about that could have gone better and things that went well. So first, things that went well, we worked well under stressful situations. There were times where we were kind of deploying at the very end, like right before the due date, and obviously things can't work out the first time. So we were kind of scrambling to get things working, especially with new technologies that we weren't as familiar with. So that was fun. But another thing we did well was also learning a lot of new technologies. So some of us weren't as familiar with backend programming and Flask and database stuff, and some of us, like myself, weren't very familiar with front-end programming. So we all learned something new, and we ended up with a pretty solid product. Some lessons that we learned: something always goes wrong. So you have a estimation of how long something might take, and it always takes longer because something always comes up, something unexpected. So you should definitely just account for not having it work out the way you wanted. Another thing we learned was deploying early. So trying to get things into production before a day before the due date, and ironing out really whatever issues come up in production. Another thing we learned about is team communication. Really, so just like talking to the team, keeping people posted, and really updating everybody about what you guys are doing and whatnot. And another thing I learned personally was that data form in the database is important. So just like how you get your data in the database, you want to do it right the first time, because we ended up actually having to do like a good amount of hacks to deal with like data in the database that was not super well formed. And what did we teach each other? Database stuff, backend programming, front-end development. Thank you, Erica. And, yeah. Some things we could have done better is, like I mentioned before, staying on top of deadlines and communicating progress, really just being transparent about where we are on our work and how it's going. What effect did the peer reviews have? Motivated us to do better. It really helped with just seeing, like, in terms of teamwork and like the soft skills, what we could have been doing better. And what still puzzles us, we're still running into some issues with AWS, the CI pipeline, and getting the Docker Selenium test running in the CI pipeline. Took a while, but yeah, it's pretty tricky.
Okay, so now onto the provider critique. We really enjoyed working with What's Up Energy. It was a lot of fun coming up with user stories for their website, and we thought that one thing that they did really well was their UI. We really liked their front end design, and we thought it was just really cohesive. They also did a really good job of responding to our feedback and making sure that they took it into account and doing a good job doing it. So we enjoyed that. One thing that we did think that they could improve on was their API documentation. In this last phase, we were in charge of coming up with the visualizations for using their API, and it was a little tricky at times figuring out what exactly all their API calls do and what type of format their JSON files come in. So maybe a little bit more refining on that end. We also thought in filtering, one useful feature might be adding a search feature to it so that you don't have to scroll through tons and tons of options. Nothing really puzzled us about their website. We thought it was pretty straightforward. And some of the things that we did learn from their website were how many different fuel types there are, and just more information on electricity providers. And we thought that it was really useful information that most people don't normally think about. Thanks for watching our presentation.